My name is Andy Omar. For 25 years, I've juggled housework, child-rearing, and part-time jobs, keeping the home front steady. My husband is the classic domineering type who doesn't lift a finger around the house, clueless even about where his socks are. He's completely helpless without me. Yet, he always acts all high and mighty, wearing a sour face. He seems to think that's what being the man of the house is all about. As for me, I just nod along and let him have his way, since it keeps him in a good mood. He's oblivious to this. Well, if you could say he's easy to handle, then maybe keeping quiet is for the best. Then, out of the blue, I got a call from him. He rarely ever calls, so I was shocked, but what he said was even more astonishing. I want a divorce. What? Why all of a sudden? I have a lover, and I'm gonna remarry. Huh? You can't just drop that on me over the phone. I'm bringing my lover home. You need to get out now. And don't you dare bother me ever again. Got it? Sign the divorce papers and leave. So, he's domineering enough to even command a divorce. Despite all I've done for our family, he understood nothing. How hard I've worked, how much I've struggled. Looking back, since we got married, he never contributed to our household chores. I've taken care of his parents all by myself. Our married life seemed fine initially, with both in-laws around, and it didn't appear to be much of a problem. But after my father-in-law passed away, my mother-in-law started feeling lonely, and we ended up living together. Even then, I managed everything from moving arrangements to sorting belongings, and dealing with their property. I took time off work and ran around with the kids. Living with my mother-in-law. I thought she'd at least help with the kids or prepare dinner when I was too busy. That was wishful thinking. My mother-in-law did nothing. It's baffling how she managed to be a housewife, barely moving a muscle. To me, it just felt like more trouble than it was worth. Yet, my mother-in-law's word was law, even criticizing the seasoning of my cooking. Andy, this seasoning just won't do. If you make it this salty, you're gonna harm your health. So, I'd make it less salty, and then she'd say, Andy, are you taste blind? It's just as bad as yesterday. You really don't know the first thing about cooking, despite her own preference for heavy seasoning. My mother-in-law always liked strong flavors. I knew she wouldn't like it if the food was bland. But she was always nitpicking to get the taste exactly to her liking. I thought she might as well make it herself, but the one time I let her, it was so bad I wanted to say, nice poison you've cooked up. So, I never let her cook again. As the kids got older and I started working part-time, cleaning became less manageable. Mornings were a rush, and after a busy evening shift, I'd do the shopping, and come home to find my mother-in-law waiting, hungry. If dinner was late, she'd start raiding the fridge, eating everything in sight, so dinner had to be on time no matter what. That meant resorting to quick and easy meals. There was no way I had time for cleaning. Yet, knowing how busy I was, she'd say, looks like no one's cleaned up around here. Don't we have a woman in the house? She's a woman too, isn't she? Even if I thought about it, I couldn't say it out loud. She'd zero in on a speck of dust on the doorstep and say, look at this dust, as if it were some kind of harassment. Why doesn't she clean it herself if she's got so much time? Sorry, I just haven't had time to clean properly. Oh, pretending to be busy, are you? But you have time to watch TV. When do I ever watch TV? Only the news, that's it. So, I'd rush home from my part-time job, start cooking, and without a moment to eat, begin cleaning. I'd vacuum everywhere, clean the bathroom, the laundry, running around non-stop. Sometimes, I was so busy I felt like screaming. Yet, for the sake of family peace, I tried to smile whenever my mother-in-law called. Despite my efforts, she complained at every turn. Marrying her was a mistake. She acts busy but can't do anything right. All that rushing around is just wasted effort. I don't know why Harry chose her. Putting up with all those snide remarks for 25 years, I think I've done pretty well. But I hit my breaking point and talked to my husband about it. I just can't take it when she goes that far. Can you please say something to her? Then my husband looked at me like I was making a fuss over nothing. And what about it? Huh? You're my wife, so dealing with this should be a given. Complaining to me just because my mom said something is ridiculous. Every wife has to put up with their mother-in-law. You have no guts and can't even handle a bit of patience. Mom was right, marrying you was a mistake. I have been patient, but I'm at my limit now. These little household squabbles are for the wife to deal with, not something you bother the main provider with. I'm out working hard all day. A wife should keep her husband from having to deal with more trouble. That's how he scolded me. Since then, I've tried to be even more patient. But my mother-in-law's whims just escalated, and she started saying the allowance I was giving her wasn't enough. I can't give you any more than that. But somehow, the money would just vanish from my wallet. Amidst all this, my husband started coming home late because of work. I couldn't help but suspect he might be having an affair. He was unusually happy and spent more time on his smartphone. But him, cheating? Really? Could that even be? This guy? I couldn't believe it and kept dismissing the thought. He seemed to be waiting for my response on the phone, getting irritated. I think I'm the one who should be irritated here, but why does he think he's in the right? I sighed and responded on the phone. Okay, absolutely, got it? What do you mean absolutely? That we'll never bother each other again, absolutely. I'm the one telling you to not bother me. What do you mean absolutely? It's already decided. Our kids have graduated from college and left home to start their lives. Me leaving now shouldn't be a problem for anyone. The only one who might have a problem is my husband. But since he's planning to remarry, he shouldn't have to worry about me anymore. When I told my mother-in-law we were getting a divorce, I signed the divorce papers. This means I can finally separate from both my mother-in-law and my husband. At last, freedom. But maybe I should thank them for these 25 years, huh? So, I rented a place and moved out in less than 3 days. However, within a week of me leaving the house, I got a call from my ex-husband, Harry. Hey! Where are my socks? I knew this would happen. We're divorced, remember? You said we should never contact each other again. Why are you calling me over something like that? Shut up. You must have hidden them somewhere. Just tell me where they are. Ask your mom. Don't ask me. I don't have time. Hurry up and tell me. He's hopeless. They're in the top drawer of the dresser. It's set up so he would know if he just bothered to open the dresser, but he won't even try. Where's my handkerchief? It's in the same place. You would know if you just looked. Shut up. It's no good if only you know where things are. You're really useless. I can't help but sigh. He's so tyrannical and selfish, it makes me want to poison him. I deserve a pat on the back for putting up with him for 25 years. You're living with your lover, right? Don't call me for every little thing. Ask her to do it. She hasn't moved in yet. Apparently, the woman who thought she'd move in right after I left hasn't done so yet. So that's why he's asking about such things. Oh, I thought you were going to live together. She said she has to get her own room sorted out first. Well, that makes sense. But it must be tough with your mom around too. Wonder if she can handle it. You don't need to worry about that. You're right. It's none of my concern, indeed. Not that I'm worried, anyway. Feeling Harry's frustration, I grinned to myself while holding my smartphone. But I expected this to happen. He thought they'd be together right away, but it's not that easy, is it? After hanging up the phone, I made a call to a certain place. A few days later, I was waiting at the agreed-upon cafe to meet the person on the other end of that call. The one who walked through the cafe door was a woman in her early 30s. Her hair dyed, wearing piercings, and dressed younger than her age. So, this is the type of woman he likes. I greeted the woman with a smile. However, she seemed wary, knowing I was Harry's ex-wife. I expected a confrontational attitude, assuming she'd think I had complaints. That is why I kept my smile. Thank you for coming all this way. I smiled warmly. I'm Andy, Harry's ex-wife. Mirabelle. So, what do you want? To complain because Harry chose me? Not at all. He's my ex-husband, after all. I just wanted to meet you and talk about him one last time. There are things I think you should know. You're his wife, so you're gonna enlighten me? That's not what I mean. There are just things you should be aware of, especially since he's a 53-year-old man. What? 53? Yes, that's right. How old did you think he was? I was told he's 45. Oh, he's been quite generous with his age, hasn't he? But age difference doesn't really matter. If you're in love, sure. If the two of you can be happy, that's what matters. By the way, how old are you? I'm 32. Wow, a 21-year difference. He must really take good care of you. Yes, he does. He treasures me a lot. You weren't as lucky, were you? Well, who knows? But my situation isn't important. Even though we're divorced, I still worry about him. I thought I'd ask for your help, to tell you the details. Oh, how does it feel, loving him so much, but having him stolen? Acting all smug after taking someone's husband? How does it feel? Terrible, of course. I figured as much. By the way, I'd like it if you kept our meeting a secret from him. Why would you do that? If he found out, he'd just worry unnecessarily. I don't want to cause him any more stress, and I just wanted to tell you. Fine by me. It's not like I feel like I've lost you or anything. I'm not trying to win anything here. It's just that the real challenge starts now. So, what do you want to tell me? It's about my ex-husband. He can't do anything by himself. I used to do everything for him. I'd prepare his underwear for the bathroom, set out his socks, handkerchief, dress shirt, and tie in the morning. Why would you do all that for him? He's an adult. If I didn't lay them out, he couldn't find them on his own. He's quite the baby, you see. If he can't figure it out, just label the drawers with what's inside. Or make him put things away himself. That way, he'll learn where everything is. I see. If only it were that easy. What do you mean? It's definitely doable. He's an adult, after all. Sure. Also, he gets mad if dinner doesn't have at least 3 dishes. 3 is the minimum requirement. Doesn't sound like much to me. Oh, are you good at cooking? Not really. I work too, you know. I don't have time for cooking. So, just lay out some store-bought meals. If he doesn't like that, let him cook. That's practical. If only it were that simple. Also, you'll be living with his mother. What? I didn't hear about that. The woman's eyes widened, and she raised her voice. Clearly disgusted. This is where I get her. With that thought, I started to tell her all about his mother. His mom is picky about food. She likes strong flavors, but not too strong or too weak. It's hard to get it just right for her, but you'll have to ask her. What, is she demanding? Yes, and she yells if the cleaning isn't done. What? She should do the cleaning herself. I have work, after all. She doesn't do anything. Also, she takes money from the wallet if she thinks her allowance is too small. She's a thief. She doesn't see it that way. Family money is just that, family money. In her mind, if she uses it, no one should complain. What's that supposed to mean? I don't know. Also, packages for her arrive almost daily. Every day? Why? No idea. But why does it matter if they arrive? I'm at work and not home. It's not my problem. She won't answer the door for anyone, so when you get home from work, you have to call and arrange for a redelivery the next day. That's so annoying. What is she buying so much for? Who knows? I never asked because she gets mad. Plus, she has debts. What? But she's out of money. She has her pension, but she absolutely refuses to spend any of her own money. So, we had to pay her debts out of the household expenses. Why? Harry should pay for that. He won't. He's on an allowance, so he doesn't see the need to pay. Knowing his mom is like this would upset him too much. And telling him would just make things worse, so I never did. What would get so bad? You'll see if you try. Anyway, that's her problem, right? It's not my concern. If only it were that simple. And there's more. Whatever, that's old lady's problem, isn't it? It's none of my business. I hope it's none of your business. And then, there's more? Yep, she's starting to lose her memory. What? That's just trouble. Well, considering her age, it's to be expected. I wanted to take her to the doctor, but she refused to go. That's so troublesome. Well, she should just go to a nursing home then. If only it were that easy. What does Harry say? He doesn't get involved in household matters at all. So, I couldn't tell him anything about what she says or does. Why? They're his parent. For him, domestic issues are not something he needs to solve. That's why he never got involved in mother-in-law and daughter-in-law issues. He says not to stress him with unnecessary things since he's tired from work. Domestic issues should be resolved between spouses. He's old-fashioned. Is that what you call old-fashioned? Maybe it's a matter of perspective. Plus, he's a traditional husband. What he says goes, and since he provides, obeying him is just natural. Taking good care of his mother is also expected of a daughter-in-law. And you can't really complain. You've got to be kidding! Is it that strict at home? Yeah, it might be tough for someone who's 32. But there's love, so you'll surely overcome it. I endured for 25 years, did everything for the family, and then he divorced me with just a phone call. But that's just how traditional husbands are, I guess. Why are you just letting it go? Maybe I've just become used to resigning myself. If you're in that house, you have to give up to get by. Well, I won't give up. You're not asking for alimony, are you? No, he doesn't have the money. I wouldn't ask for it. If anything, I'm thankful someone is taking on such a challenging person. Thank you. What? Anyway, Harry is a handful, but good luck. I'll be fine. She seemed to be pondering, but I clearly heard her mutter as we parted. Maybe I should wait on the marriage. A month later, I heard Mirabelle had moved into the family home. But problems arose as soon as she started living there. Mirabelle, who never expected to receive demand letters, opened an envelope addressed to his mother. It turned out to be revolving credit payments, indicating she'd been making purchases every month. What's this? What? This. It's all on revolving credit. Before you thrust that at me, fix how you talk. I'm your mother-in-law. You should speak respectfully. That doesn't matter. What does revolving credit mean? What have you been buying? I don't know. Not knowing isn't an answer. And a demand means you haven't paid anything. You should pay for this yourself. Why should I pay for something I didn't buy? The bills are coming because you bought them. If you didn't buy anything, they wouldn't come. When Andy was here, we never got these. They started coming after you moved in, so you must be the one buying them. And now you're blaming me? That's not right. How could I possibly use your mother's credit card? It's obvious I couldn't do that without thinking. You must have stolen my card to shop. That's why these bills are coming. Cut it out. You senile old woman. What did you say? You useless thing. In the end, furious, Mirabelle took the issue to Harry, who was also taken aback since this had never happened before. If it were me, it would have been resolved with a "you deal with it," but apparently, he couldn't say the same to Mirabelle, 21 years his junior, so he called me. Hey, where's the password for my account? Excuse me? Do you have no common sense? We're divorced and strangers now, and you're still commanding me? Unbelievable. Shut up. Why should I have to listen to this from you? Oh my, he's quite angry. Weren't we supposed to not bother each other anymore? Please, get it together. I don't want to deal with you either. But I can't find it, so I have no choice. Ask her to look for it. She doesn't do anything for me. Wow, that's something. But yelling at me is misguided. Fine, then where is it? Your stuff is in your drawer. That's why I'm asking, because it's not there. If you look properly, it's there. From the sounds over the phone, it seems he's looking while we talk. He used to make me look for everything he couldn't find immediately. Oh, found it. Of course, it would be there, but the real issue is the content. Harry was shocked when he checked the balance. What the hell is this? A balance of 24 cents? Why are there no savings? How could there be? We couldn't live on your salary alone, so I worked too. Even so, this is too much. It can't be helped. Your mom's allowance and yours took a significant amount, plus the living expenses and her revolving credit bills. And I was putting all my part-time job earnings into it. That's ridiculous. Harry was dumbfounded, but this wasn't the whole truth. Also, my part-time earnings were safely accumulating in my account. I managed to cover expenses with just Harry's salary, and any surplus went into my account. It was leaving me with a healthy balance. Given the situation, I could have demanded alimony and a division of property, but I haven't asked for anything. Is that so? Division of property. This house is mine, remember. By all means. I have no attachment to that house. It's old, the plumbing leaks, and it leaks when it rains. It's falling apart. Living there requires repairs, which we couldn't afford. If we had the money, we would have fixed it, but that was impossible. Why didn't you tell me something so important? You said household matters are for the wife to solve. So, my solution was to ignore it. Without money, what else could I do? And how could I have discussed it with you? This isn't a small matter. Not your mother's debts or the house. Either way, it's no longer my concern. Please, don't contact me again. Let's really not bother each other this time. What a person! Completely useless. Harry yelled over the phone, but I hung up without a care. After 6 months, there was no contact from Harry. It seemed he was truly keeping to himself. But then, unexpectedly, I ran into Harry at the supermarket 6 months later. Despite claiming a man wouldn't be caught dead shopping, there he was, pushing a cart alone. Shocked by the sight, he approached me with a near-teary face. Andy. How unusual. A man pushing a cart in the supermarket, that's not like you. What happened to your wife? She left me. Oh my, why? We fought because she wanted me to fold and put away the laundry myself, complained about the lack of variety in meals, and when I told her it was a woman's job, she told me to cook myself. So, he's pushing responsibilities onto me just like he did with you, huh? Well, that's to be expected, isn't it? But you know what? She argued that we both work, so I should pitch in too. And on top of that, she yelled at me, saying don't complain when she earns so little that it requires the woman to work too. Indeed, Harry's salary was low. He was a manager with a decent salary, but after turning 50, his pay steadily decreased. It was part of the company's policy to reduce wages after age 50. I accepted this as inevitable, but Mirabelle probably couldn't. It's understandable, really. At 32, she couldn't possibly imagine a salary reduction after 50. Well, from her perspective, it makes sense, especially with your mother's debt. I was paying it off with my earnings, but a young woman like her couldn't do that, and it's not something she could accept. Yeah, that's how it was. When things got tough, I asked her to use her savings to help. Then she got mad, saying that's your mother's debt, not mine. After that, we fought all the time. When I approached her at night, she'd kick me away. In the end, she said we couldn't marry in such a condition and left. Oh, were you married? No, we planned to get married right away before moving in together. But after living together, she said we needed to observe each other more before marrying. And she knew my real age. Got really mad when she found out I'd lied. Wonder how she figured it out. Living together, she probably saw various things, like looking at an insurance card or a driver's license. Ah, right. That makes sense. That's what happens when you resort to petty lies. While saying this, I couldn't help but laugh inwardly. So, what are you doing now? Well, my mom has started to lose her memory. I want to put her in a facility, but I don't have the money. We're living together, and taking care of her has become too much for me. I've stopped working because I didn't realize it would be this difficult. I bet it was tough. Yeah, I feel bad for what I put you through. So, how about we try again? Huh? Why would that be? If we live together again, I can work, and you can take care of my mom, right? And if you pay off her debt, that solves everything. Why did she buy so much in installments? Seems she was messing up the smartphone. She thought she wasn't getting charged because packages kept arriving without payment notices, so she kept buying happily. I see. So, with you here, you must be joking. I've finally gained my freedom. Who would want to be with you after I struggled for 25 years? You should properly struggle for the rest of your life. Saying that, I refused him and walked away, thinking, serves you right. Later, when I passed by the family home, I saw a mountain of trash in the yard. Among the trash were countless nonsensical items, apparently bought on installment by my mother-in-law without any purpose. Some were quite expensive, but Harry seemed clueless about their value, tossing everything into trash bags. You'd think he'd just throw it all away, but Harry has always been the type to hoard things, thinking it's a waste to discard them. I used to throw things away when the timing was right. From the house, I could hear what sounded like my mother-in-law's screams and Harry talking down to her. I wondered how they managed to live, and it turns out it's on my mother-in-law's pension and a little bit of side income. The house repairs have still not been done. Recently, Harry contacted me, complaining about how long this situation would last. I responded gently, just make sure you don't end up in the news, and hung up. As for me, I'm now liberated from endless nonsensical installment payments, enjoying peace of mind. Divorce has brought stability to my life, and I'm savoring the happiness as if spring has finally arrived.